Man, this chapter was chocked full of content. Like, after the downtime of the previous chapter, it was nice to see the whole fairy tale guild get back together for the most part. I guess they're still hanging around in that other continent, mostly because you don't want to just up and leave and not know if your guildmates are going to make it back from an alternate dimension. Which is something only the Fairy Tale Guild could really say. But because of the fact that Lucy was able to summon her celestial spirits and all that, a lot of those spirits were able to confirm to Loki that they were okay. And since Loki has his connection to Fairy Tale, he was able to tell them, yeah, they're fine. Don't worry. They're good. They'll be back as soon as they can. So, everybody returns home, quote unquote, to where the Fairy Tale Guild is staying. We get nice little moments here and there. Juvia and Gray's relationship has grown a little bit closer as Gray is starting to kind of accept the fact that he and Juvia will be married sometime in the future and have tons of babies. At least one baby. Speaking of babies, we have Levy and Gajil, and the fact that Gajil is trying to be a little bit more mature and not to, in his immaturity, ask if Levy has laid her egg yet, because he still believes eggs, dragons, babies, all that good stuff. But naturally, Natsu just gets so far under Gajil's skin that, of course, they devolve back into their usual banter of beating each other senseless. And also an interesting little moment with Lily questioning if Toka had stayed home, like where she was, and Carla says she stayed home in Elentry. And it's interesting because apparently Lily was thinking that maybe Toka could finally be Laxus's cat. And I'm just like, really? Really? That would have been interesting, though. Laxus finally gets his cat. But Lax is like, I don't really need a cat, especially considering he has the Thunder God tribe. And freaking Freed even suggests that he'll be Laxus's cat. And I'm just like, Freed, just ask him out already, like Jesus. And a nice little bit of continuity building is that Lizana asks if everyone in Eldolas is doing well. Lily asks if Mistigan is doing well. Like, I like that. I like the fact that we didn't just gloss over the fact that we went to a place that the Fairy Tale Guild had such a big experience with. Interestingly enough, too, and I keep saying interestingly enough, but like a lot of interesting stuff happens in this chapter. Like, dang. Urza talks with Jalal as he stuck around wanting to make sure that everyone was back safe and sound, that the situation with the White Wizard was settled, because he was, despite the fact that the White Wizard of legend was not in fact Ferris, the person he was after was Toka slash Ferris, and since everything with her is settled, that was his whole job right there. And when he goes on about what he'll be doing next, that he's still, scouring the shrouded parts of the magical world, sussing out the darkness of our land. Urza questions why he doesn't seem to be willing to just move on with his life for the most part. And he says that while his crimes have been pardoned, he still wants to make sure that the darkness that he had to deal with never should harm anyone ever again. Of course, man on a mission, all that good stuff. Honestly, that's the thing about this character that Mashima always includes in a lot of his stuff, like in Rave Master Siegheart and Justice from Eden Zero. These guys who are just driven. He always puts this one character within his series, and it's just like, once you see those markings on the dude's eye, it's just like, no, he's driven no matter what. You can't talk him out of anything. But that's not to say that the character is a negative thing. Hiro Mashima wouldn't constantly include him in a lot of his works if there was any negativity towards him, but he tends to sacrifice himself a lot. And because of that, Urza tries to pull him away from that darkness. And I almost thought she was kind of proposing that maybe they try to start a life together, but to a certain degree, Urza does kind of say that, asking if maybe Jalal will finally join Fairy Tail, which obviously throws him a little off guard, and she even invites Merdy, or Meldy, however you say her name, translations and all of that, even invites her as well, which, I mean, I could kind of see, but considering they have Crime Sorcière and, the previous members of the Oratian Says kind of just around for the most part, I can see why they might not want to just do that. Crime Sorcière is their thing. They're keeping an eye on those guys, making sure they continue to do the right thing, so I can understand them not going down that path. But Jalal does says that he'll consider it. Now, the real big thing of this chapter is over at the Wizards Guild Diabolos. We see that Selene has been chained up, apparently defeated by Suzaku, who's looking pretty worse for wear himself. And their guildmaster, George, is just salivating at the mouth, ready to eat her, and not in the sexy way either. And she's unconscious, but she wakes up, opens her eyes, and whereas Suzaku's ready to just throw down right then and there after he dealt with her before, George just wants to taunt her and be like, how does it feel being caught by humans? And all Selene asks is, are you the one who killed Carnegie, who was her child? George is just like, who the fuck is Carnegie? And Suzaku explains, oh yeah, that was the one whose flesh I feasted on. You slew him, and I feasted on his flesh to gain my power. That's her child. And George just revels in it. It's just like, that's great. The kid and now the parent. We're just killing the whole bloodline. Like, this guy is so stock villain. It's very apparent what's about to happen next, because he immediately demands that she change back into her dragon form because he wants to just show off the strength of humans and all that. And of course she just transforms back. It was pretty obvious she was kind of faking being unconscious. And whereas the Scullion Raider and Mad Mole are just like, okay, this might not be a good situation to get involved with, Kyrie's just egging it forward, just like, yeah, let's do it. If Suzaku could take her down, George will take him down too. Something that Suzaku agrees with, and Selene goes into her full dragon form. George is ready to throw down. He's just like, let me show you my 4 beast dragon slayer magic. And she squishes him. Just like that. Just like that. And it's not even like he'll be okay, he'll get back up kind of squish. No, he bloody chunks. He bloody chunks on floor. He dead. He very dead. It's not even subtle how dead he is. He is so dead. I was so taken aback by this because it's just like that. We don't normally get that level of violence on Fairy Tail. Like, shit gets pretty violent, but not that violent. And everyone else is like freaking out. It's just like, what the shit just happened? Because it happened with such a quickness that they're all just taken aback, like, dude, I didn't even see what the fuck just happened. And I'm so glad too, because I was just like, really? Suzaku's the one who's able to take down Selene. Now, let's not be unreasonable. Suzaku had a lot of power behind him. Like, dude seemed full on capable that he would give a dragon god, even Agnologia, a bit of a run for their money. But defeating them? Nah, let's give this the rundown. Acnologia, it took a variety of extra circumstances for him to be defeated. Irene, it took a variety of circumstances. Mercuphobia took a lot of circumstances, and even Alderaan. Like, every one of these powerful godly dragons, there was something a little bit extra to how they got taken out. Agnologia gets taken out by 5 dragon slayers. Irene commits suicide, and she's still around. Her existence still has not been fully extinguished as it lives on within Wendy. She has the potential to come back. Mercuphobia was only taken out because of the involvement of the White Witch and basically having his magic kind of warped and twisted, basically. And even Alderaan, it took the entirety of the Fairy Tale Guild's involvement to take that fucker down. Selene isn't going down to one dude. No. I'm so glad it didn't go in that direction. And she was just playing dead because it's just like, Suzaku was just like, yeah, my master slew your son. It's just like, of course she's going after your master. Like, come on. And I love the fact that she was even just like, I've defeated your enemy, Kernugi. Like, you weren't so much of a good son, but I did love you. And I gotta tell you, despite how much of a colossal bitch Selene has been, I gotta respect that she was like, you killed my son, I kill you. End of story. That's as far as that goes. It's just like, you killed my son, so I fucking kill you. She didn't hesitate. She didn't postulate. It's just like, you cried out, you killed my son, how dare you, and go into a rage. It's just like, bam, you dead. End of story. I really have to give props again to Mishima for this, because it's just like, yo, that's some wicked shit right there. And Suzaku catches on to Selene's plan and all of this, and everyone else, they're just shitting themselves over the fact that their master is dead. And Selene just thanks Suzaku for guiding her to her foe. It's still killing me because it was just like, damn, ain't that some shit? It's very impressive. I'm not used to that level of impressive ruthlessness in this series. Not that it never exists, but man, when it comes around, like, ooh, chef's kiss, round of applause, well done. I love it. And Selene's not even mad about Suzaka having her son's power. It's just like, part of you is part of my child, and, she actually thinks, you do have a lot of strength, and it'd be a waste to kill you. I'm just like, shit, that something about that. I don't know how to feel about all of this. And she just thought, so it's just like, did you really think a human could beat a dragon? Come on. And damn, Selene on that high shit. I don't know what to think. What's gonna happen next? This was a really impressive showing from Selene. And really, Selene has felt unimaginably powerful. Like, really, really powerful. But she's also a schemer, she's devious, she has multiple machinations. It's not just gonna end at, I defeated my son's enemy, I'm gonna just go home and go about my day. Just like, no. She tried to turn a whole world into essentially a magical bomb just for shits and giggles. It doesn't end here for Selene. It would be interesting though if she took over the Diabolos guild and made them her minions, and just I'm like really wondering where we go from here with the Diabolos guild, because they've always been the spanner in the work, the extra third party that's just fucking around in these situations. But like, are they going to become the minions of Selene, especially now that her otherworld enforcers have all been dealt with? Is that where we're going from here on out? Will the Diabolos Guild be her base from here on out, or will Diabolos try to fight against her after everything that happened? It would be the height of stupidity to fight her after everything that went down, but I feel like that's the angle that we're going with her not just wiping the lot of them out, because it very much looks like she could have just wiped them out with the quickness, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. She could have just boom, Diabolos is all dead. So I'm thinking she takes over Diabolos and makes them her minions. But really, my question here is like, how does Natsu and the others defeat her? Take her down, continue on with the 100 Years quest. Because she really does feel like the most devious of the lot of them. Like, even Ignil's son didn't feel as capable as Selene does. I'm really wondering. Or maybe Irene takes over her body in order to gain back her life or something like that. Now that would be some shit. That would be some shit right there. Oof, there's a world of possibilities, and I'm so interested to see what happens next. Fairy Tale is always so good at building hype. The payoff, not always the best, but man, that hype that it gives you is like a high. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Where does Selene go from here on out? And hell, do you think Jalal will actually join the Fairy Tale Guild proper? It really makes me wonder, but do you think Diabolos will ally with Selene, or she'll end up just wiping them all out when they try to retaliate for her master? For their master, I should say. What about Kyrie? She's the most hot-headed of the lot of them, but it's obvious that the Diabolos Guild is going to have involvement with this whole situation right up until the final dragon is taken down. So I'm really wondering where their story ends in all of this. Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.